Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amanda Carlson, and I'm the Marketing Coordinator here at Advisicon. I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar. Here at Advisicon, we are a group of authors, teachers, consultants, and technologists who are passionate about helping organizations learn, scale, and grow with a mix of methodology and technology to deliver results. We offer training from the Microsoft technologies such as Project, Office 365, Power BI, Visio, and SharePoint, as well as project management and methodology. With attending any of our training sessions, we offer PDUs, as we are a registered education provider with the Project Management Institute. At the close of today's session, I will give some instructions on how you can claim your PDUs and how to contact Advisicon with any questions you may have. Before we get started, I'll go over a few things so you know how to participate in our event today. If you would review the control panel that should be on the top right of your screen, the audience is muted during this session, so in order to ask questions, you will need to submit them in the questions window of the control panel. This webinar will be recorded and uploaded on the Advisicon YouTube channel for those who could not attend today's session live. Please note that any questions or comments submitted will not be displayed in the recording, nor will any of your personal information be shared. And it's now my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today, Richard Wentworth. He is the Senior Project Advisor here at Advisicon. So without further ado, I will hand this presentation over and we can get started.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. And welcome everyone to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. Looking forward to speaking with you today and going over a very useful tool, a relatively new tool in the Microsoft portfolio. Been around for a couple of years, but it's Office 365 Planner. And then obviously we'll talk in the context of managing Agile projects and so how you can use the features of Planner from an Agile perspective. So, but we'll also go over basically just an overview of what is Planner. And for any of you who are not necessarily familiar with it, we'll give a quick overview of what it's good for, what it is, what it does not do, and then we'll get into how you can manage some of your Agile projects with Planner. I'll go into a demonstration, actually pull up the application itself and run through some things with you. And then leave some time at the end, hopefully, to just do a quick wrap up and give you a chance to ask some questions. So let's get going. I want to start actually with asking a poll question first, though. So we'll go there, start. So for any of you that, if you see the poll question here, I'll open it up here in a second. So for those of you on the call, how frequently do you use Planner in either your professional life or even in your personal life to track things? So I'm going to go ahead and just open the poll now and see this and launch it. And give you guys a few minutes to go ahead there and vote. We'll see folks on the call who's voting. We'll see what kind of usage we see of Planner. Okay, we got a few that use it daily, and then we got a lot who've never used it before. So that's good. So hopefully we can get some value today out of going over the tool itself and see how you can apply it going forward. So very good. Got about 65% of folks have voted at this point, and it looks like a lot of people, 82%, say they haven't used it before, so that's good. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and close that poll for now, and then we'll move forward here. So I'm going to get rid of this right here, and we're going to move this down. All right, so let's start. What is Office 365 Planner, or as I just call it, Planner? It's one of the various applications that Microsoft has. It's a tool that we use. It's available for both government, commercial. However, we've known that in terms of the time total of releasing Planner, government tends to lag behind commercial. So we are hoping and hopeful, especially for some of our customers here at Advisicon, that it's going to become available for government entities here, either Q1 or Q2 of 2019. So a lot of people are asking for it. But so what is it? So basically, it's a very lightweight task management tool, project management tool that really allows you to gives you an opportunity for teams to manage, quickly set up tasks, easily manage tasks, collaborate with team members. Very lightweight. Now, what it doesn't do is it doesn't have the immense power of Microsoft Project. So if you need to, enter tasks for time tracking or even doing the resource demand, capacity planning and such, it is not designed for that. But what it is nice is that it's part of the Office 365 suite. So it's always available in the cloud, which means you can get your information easily, and it's always current. So the application's always up to date being in the cloud. So it's nice. It gives teams the ability to quickly pull together, add tasks. You'll see the features as we go through the demonstration. The ability to flag things, easily set start and due dates, invite team members, assign the tasks, variety of great ways to do this. And then from an Agile perspective, you'll see that there's a built-in Kanban view. And so we can go there and you can set up different types of buckets of your backlogs and tracking sprints, what have you. So whether you're using it for Agile or you're just using it as a simple task management tool to take care of reminders of all the various things you have to do every day for your various customers or personal things, it's a great little tool. And like I said, the integration piece that integrates with, as we'll go through during the demo, it integrates with OneNote, SharePoint, Outlook, and a variety of other ways. Team, you can actually work in, if any of you are familiar with Microsoft Teams, you can actually add a planner to a Microsoft Team channel and use it. So a very useful little application that you'll, hopefully for many of you who have never seen it before, used it before, you'll begin to use it. So it's also important to understand that there are some, it's very lean and simple. So there are some limitations. So you just have to understand what is the practical application for using it for your needs. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's available currently to a lot of people in the commercial sector, commercial realm. In terms of government, the government entities tend to lag behind in terms of getting some of the features and functionality. So Planner is not the only one. There are other Microsoft applications that are also affected by that. So if any of you work in government, you're probably already familiar with this and understand the pains of the delay that sometimes we have with getting these features made available to you. However, it definitely look forward to it. It should be coming out here in 2019 to get your hands on it and start to use it. So if any of you haven't used it up until now, but you see this coming down the road, then this will give you a nice preview. So you can list it here. These are all the various plans that currently have it. What I've done here is when you get a copy of the presentation, you can use this link, and this link will take you to a site on the Microsoft site, page on the Microsoft site, and it'll go into more detail in terms of who you are and what types of license levels offer it at the moment. So I wanted to make that available to you so you could actually see that. All right, so with the next slide. So from an Agile project management perspective, Planner is a nifty little tool. You are able to set up for the sake of sprints or your iterations, you're basically able to easily create buckets. And within those buckets, you can basically creating plans or tasks. And then think of the card concept. So cards, like Kanban cards. So it allows you to engage in the sprint planning process. You can have one side or one bucket that tells you these are all my backlog items or my to-do items. And you can then have a sprint one, so you can easily see what's going to be included in the development tasks or the various tasks in my first sprint. And then sprint two, or sprint three, so on and so forth. So you can have your sprint backlog and your product backlog. So they have all those various buckets. So we'll go through how that looks and adding that. And you're able to do things like the visuals that are provided in Planner. you can see a very simple burn down chart. So you can actually see the tasks that have been completed, ones that are in process, ones that have not started it yet. So you're able to see all those that are burning down across the various sprints and see how you're doing. So a great little tool. And like I said, we have built-in Kanban views. So those who are familiar with the Kanban, you basically have buckets of things that are tasks that are not started, work in process, and then completed. And you're able to easily, when you create these tasks, you create these little cards within the buckets. You can click and drag and move them from each column in the actual view and see that. So it's pretty useful. And in addition, you'll also see, as we go on the demo, you will see that you're able to flag tasks by resource type. So there's various little color-coded flags that you can use, and you can assign whatever name you want to those. So you can flag things as being a development task or a testing task or a release task. So for those of you that work in the software development piece or IT, you'll see where those things are and what those things mean and where they fall. So you'll see that. All right, so enough of the chatter, at least from a slide perspective. Why don't we go ahead and pull up the application, and let's walk through a demonstration of the application, since many of you have never used it. So let's make sure we give you an overview of the nuts and bolts of that. So let me hit escape here, and let's pull up this right here. So what I'm showing you here is this is the actual view when you actually log into Planner. Now, whether in the Office 365, if you click on the waffle up here, you're familiar with this, you'll see all the various apps that you have access to. And if for some reason you don't see Planner listed here, like Planner's not actually appearing here, you will actually click your All Apps, and you can see all these wonderful Microsoft apps that are available. And you go down and you see Planner listed right there. So had I not had this launch, or I was on another application, I could go ahead and just click on the Planner, and it would launch this this actual page. Now, also, just be important to say that the project itself also has Planner built in. So depending on the version of Microsoft Project that you have, Project Online, Professional, Desktop, you will see over here there is a link to the Planner right here. So within a project schedule, you can also go ahead and show and link an actual plan, actually create a plan. So in this case, I could actually link to a plan. It'll create a plan. You can actually, if there are certain tasks that you don't necessarily, if you don't want a heavy project schedule, you could actually create a planner to go with your project, and you can list out a series of tasks in the planner, and then there'll be linkages. So I'm not going to go into that today, but for those of you that obviously have project and have the right version, that feature is available. So all right, so let's go back to the Planner page here. So looking on the left column, there's a way for us, there's something called the Planner Hub. So right now the Planner Hub is the page that we were on. So this actually gives you perspective into all the various certain different types of plans that have been built previously. You also have recent plans here down below. Okay, so you have the ability to create a new plan, and then you have a My Task view. So across these various plans, I have a My Task view, so it tells you what kind of tasks are not started, in process, or completed. Okay, so going back there. To create a new plan, basically you click on this, you create a new plan here, you actually fill out a name, you can identify it as being public or private, and then it can actually create the plan. I won't do that here, but that's how you actually would be able to do that. Once you're in a plan, I will click on one of the ones I actually built for today. So you can see this right here, shows you the not started, the in process. So now that we're at the webinar process, and we have the ones that were completed leading up to this webinar, This answer questions will definitely come once the webinar is complete, and sending out an email with the PDUs for those of you that are on the call. That will be something that gets completed as well at the conclusion of this call. So, but you can see it's very easy for us to be able to move these over while the webinar is in process. And for tasks that are completed, in this case, you can easily go and you can reactivate these tasks that are completed for some reason. Let's say I had to go back and reactivate the task. So by clicking on this, it'll actually reactivate it or completing it. All right. But clicking on the plus sign here on this view allows you to add a new task right here. Easily, you can actually type in new task right here. You can easily set a due date of saying next Thursday, and then you can quickly assign it to someone, like I'll assign it to Michael right here, one of our colleagues at Advisicon, and then you click Add Task, and that easily adds a task in your card. Once that's built, you can actually dive into this class in more detail and expand it, and it'll give you a larger view of the various details of what you can do with the task. So you have the actual bucket. So we talked about the buckets, right? So we have the buckets of not started and process completed. You can track progress right here. You can actually have the start, you set the start date and the due date, a description. You can add a checklist here as well. So there's a checklist allow you to go through and start to add items. So item 1, right? And then item 2, example. So you can go through and actually add these, and you can specify that these will actually show up on your card. You either go to add an attachment, so if I had a document, a PowerPoint, an image, whatever the case may be, you can actually add those there on that. So pretty powerful stuff. You see that the task right there, and then as items are completed, you can actually click the checkbox when the user completes it and have you. Now, when these tasks are assigned, notifications are sent out to folks. So you can easily send notifications to your email. A group gets created in Outlook when you actually create a new one of these plans. So a lot of power in doing this. When you're managing tasks, like I said, another thing I forgot to mention was you look at this, there are these other features. So if you click on the ellipsis here, there are a variety of things you can do. You can label these. So these are the labels we talked about. So you can affix actual unique labels to each of these cards. You can name these whatever you want. You can click on these, and you can go through and name these. So really useful to go ahead and use these labels. Again, for IT, you can use these development, testing, release, requirements analysis, whatever the case may be. So very powerful to use these labels. Okay. Looking up here, other parts of this page, we have the board, we have the charts. So in charts, this actually gives you the visuals, so you can begin to see progress. I'm going to actually go over to this other project that we have here, this biothermal, and it has a whole series of other tasks, a lot of different members that are part of here right here. So you'll be able to see these charts. And so this is where I talked about being able to view the burn down. So you can see all the various burn down on this board. You can see various types of to-dos completed. We also have sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, the backlog, what have you. So you can see you can easily set these up for tracking the various tasks. So they have these cards for that. Okay, and you can use these charts as your burn down. All right. Another thing here is you have the schedule, so you can easily see the schedule. So you can see from a calendar perspective, you can go through and see what these tasks are. This red indicates it's behind schedule, and you can see some other ones that are coming up. Okay. Clicking on the ellipsis, I talked about before of some of the various ways you can link to other Office 365 tools. Right, so it's very important. So one of the ones that we find very powerful is you can set up conversations. So you have conversation, members. This all basically links to Outlook. Files will link to SharePoint. Notebook will link to your OneNote notebook that gets deployed. So if I were to click on the OneNote notebook, you'll see there was one that was deployed previously for this project right here. So you can go through and you can see how do I keep the team motivated? Why am I, and how do I keep alive? So variety of things you can do. If we go back to, if I close this notebook and I go back to, from an Agile perspective, let me go back to this plan right here. So we'll load this plan and we'll click on the OneNote notebook for this one. For this one, we use a case of user stories, and you can have your meeting stand-ups. So you have meeting notes from each of your stand-ups as you do. So you can go through, and as you answer the key questions every time you have a stand-up for your Agile project, you can do this. So great way to have the integration between your planner that you're using for your sprints, as well as the OneNote notebook. Okay, so a lot of integration, a lot of power there. And then sites, again, sites, this will actually take you to a SharePoint site. So for this, if you have a series of information that are tied to this actual project, you show a file document library. So you have the actual documents that were uploaded. You have the PowerPoint presentation that I uploaded here, an outline that we use for the sake of the webinar, and then you have news. So a great way for your team to communicate on all the tasks that are being done for this project. Okay. Other things just to note here, so you can look at these, and I'll go back to another different project here. And notice up here you have members, so you can add members to the actual project right here. So it's easy to basically add new members. You can add filters, so it's a way for you to filter the information here. You can group by bucket, so you can say the bucket, or you can say group by assigned to. If I look at the board, so it shows you who all the various people that are involved in this project. You can actually easily do that. The progress, so you can look at tasks that are in progress, ones that are not started, in progress, or completed. Due date, and then you can actually sort by the label. So we talk about all these little labels that are here. You can go ahead and sort things by labels. So all the high priority, low priority, medium, all of these things can be customized. So like I said, if you wanted to have these set up as your testing tasks, your development tasks, QC, whatever the case may be, your release tasks, a lot of flexibility to be able to do this with your plan. So that's in terms of changing your views on the page. Now, what else we have? So basically, if you look at some of these and drill down a little bit more, you also have a way for us to go through. So if you look at the files, we talked about the files before as well, right? So when you're working with these cards, work with the files, it creates the actual SharePoint library. So file document library here is part of SharePoint. So easily to get back and forth and do all these. So pretty powerful stuff to go through. But for the most part, you look at if you have these and you're going through and you're tracking these tasks across, and you have your products that haven't started. Let's go back to this the bucket view, right? So as you go through and you map these, very, very easy for you to move these cards around as your team is making progress from an Agile perspective and closing things and see actually how you're doing with your various sprints. So it's a very, very smart, very useful tool. But again, it doesn't allow the things that the project provides that Planner does not, would be the, when you look at the, if we add a new task and you drill into this a little bit more. So task 1 and the due date of the 14th, and I assign it to April in this case. So we go through and do that. What you don't see basically is you don't see the ability to basically do a lot of the time tracking or resource demand capacity. So that's what here is basically just setting a start date, a due date, very simplistic, giving this person a series of things to do, and they're going to get them done as a function of the work. So it's just you have to understand the benefits of how you use Planner as a very simple task tracking tool and reporting versus using Microsoft Project. And again, if we go back and see, you're able to actually integrate Planner and Project together and bundle them. So, some companies have very large, very long, detailed projects. Other people don't want to have a lot of some people like to keep it very simple, and they want to port some of those tasks into a planner, into this area, and map some of those tasks out and assign them accordingly. So you really have a lot of flexibility with doing that. So that's basically, that's a very quick. I know it's we can go into a lot more, but I want to leave some time for folks to ask questions. So I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint here, and from a summary perspective. And let's talk about this. Let me go ahead and display this again, all the way down. Okay, so like I said, in detail, or in summary, the planner is really an ideal option for doing very lightweight task management. Gives you the ability to go through and quickly assign tasks to your teammates and track the progress, collaborate on them, and complete them. You have the power of the Microsoft portfolio of software, so everything is integrated, works very well. One thing I didn't show you, I think I mentioned it, is the ability to actually set the planner with Teams. So for those of you that are using the Teams feature, again, we use it extensively at Advisicon, and the planner feature being integrated, it's very powerful. If you are looking to, again, I can't reiterate enough the use of projects. So if you need to do the resource capacity and demand capacity planning, make sure you use a Microsoft project for that. Or the time tracking to be able to set up all the predecessor relationships and all the power of that project gives you. You can do that. Now, one thing that I didn't bring up during the demo was obviously there's a mobile application as well. So we have it's like all the various mobile apps for Teams, Power Apps, all kinds of things you can do. We have one for Planner, and it works both on the Android platform and the Apple platform. So you can go in there and add this app to your mobile device, and you'll get those same notifications. If you're using it for your personal needs, and not for work, it's a great little to-do list and task tracker to be able to do that. So it's available. Make use of it. And the nice thing about this is that this application is going to continue to evolve, and more features are going to be coming very soon. So the added integration and the evolution of the Microsoft portfolio, this one in particular is going to have some more features built into it. So buckle your seatbelt, stay tuned for that. So, but dive in. For many of you that that haven't used it, I recommend if you can go on there and grab it and start to play with it. I think you'll enjoy using it. So, all right. So with that, I am going to leave. Looks like we have a couple minutes left. If we have any questions that came up, Amanda. So I'm going to pass it back to Amanda and let me know if there's any questions that have come through.
Yeah, I think you answered a lot of the questions that came in during the webinar. One that stuck out to me, it says, can I move a plan to Project Online?
Can you move a plan to Project Online? Well, fundamentally, it's so it's part of the, obviously it's connected. So you have even though I was showing you the desktop version of Project Online, you have the Project Online is obviously connected with your Project Desktop. So if you have the Project Online Professional, it allows you to work with your Project Online project and then open it in your Project Online Professional desktop version. And then from that, you can then create the linkages between Planner and Microsoft Project. So, but the actual connection between Project Online itself and linking to Planner, I think that's actually there at the moment. Through the desktop it is.
And then we'll just answer this last one before we finish. It says, can it be integrated with Project 2016?
It really depends on what version you are. So you have to go and look at the versions that are supported. So if you look up, actually, if you utilize that link that's in this presentation, that will take you to the Microsoft site, and then it will give you the versions that are available. So how Planner integrates with. So you go to that link, that's why I put it out there, because I have to refer to that sometimes as I'm working with customers and looking at what versions they have and seeing what's available, what isn't available, or actually a timeline of when things are coming. So take a look at that link, and that should be able to give you some insight into whether it will integrate with the specific 2016 version that you may have.
That's great. So thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. We welcome your questions and feedback. For more information, you can email us at contact@advisicon.com. Once you exit today's webinar, you will receive a survey on the presentation, and you will need to complete and submit the survey in order to receive your PDUs. From there, you will receive a follow-up email within 2 business days with your PDU information. If you're watching this recording on YouTube or another social media platform, please be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And on behalf of Advisicon, Rich, and myself, we thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you participate in our future webinars. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.